I think the purpose of the universe is really just to explore all the manifestations it can produce. It's like the universe is having fun with itself, and we're part of that process. And its purpose is to just build more and more complex systems, and out of that emerges richer and richer qualities. First of all, out of putting energy together into complex systems, matter emerged. Then put matter together into complex systems, life emerged. We put living cells together, brain cells together, into a very complex system, the human brain, and human consciousness. Our particular form of consciousness emerged. I think the next stage is consciousnesses coming together, minds coming together, and out of that play, a new level of evolution is going to emerge, something completely new to us, which will be something to do with the whole planet. And that's why I call the book The Global Brain. And it's like the global brain of the planet is beginning to come together. And when that happens, there's going to be something which I think the nearest we can talk about is some sort of global consciousness. It's the consciousness of the whole of society as a single being will begin to emerge. And that's, if you like, the next level of creation in this big play. There seems to be a pattern in evolution that it takes a certain degree of complexity to get the next stage emerging. There's a certain degree of complexity in atoms before life will emerge. You need about 10 billion atoms to get life. You need about 10 billion living cells to get a human brain. You need about, it seems, 10 billion consciousnesses on a planet to get a planetary system going like we have. It so turns out there's about 10 billion living planets in our galaxy. And there's about 10 billion galaxies in the universe. So it's almost as if the stage is set up for this process to go on. From planetary being to galactic being to universal being. And so you could say the evolution of life is just a middle stage in evolution. We've gone through the evolution of energy, the evolution of matter. We've had the evolution of life, which is what we normally talk about as evolution. It's just a tiny section in that series. And I think we're now moving on to the evolution of planetary systems, the evolution of consciousness, the evolution of planetary systems. So the next stage, if you like, we're now talking about billions of years into the future, would be planets beginning to communicate. I think the whole thing about communication between extraterrestrials will not happen individual to individual. It will not be you or I communicating with green men who land in flying saucers. It's going to be planetary systems communicating with other planets. And this is already beginning to happen, in a sense. If you look at what's happened in the last 20 years, if you've been actually looking out in space, watching our solar system, supposing you were some observer who was just monitoring this solar system, what was happening, it'd been completely okay for millions of years, life seems to be evolving, and suddenly you notice things start whirring out from this planet, spinning around it, and other things start going off around the moon and coming back, and they start going off to Venus and Mars. There's all these things going out. There's now about 12,000 bits of things out there, which we put out there, of which 1,100 are communicating information back in. There's 1,100 nerve fibers, if you like, sending information back into the planet. So I see the whole step into space is like our planet beginning to explore her immediate environment. And if humanity is the nervous system of the planet, this is like the first tendrils, the first nerves growing out into the environment. And what is important about this, it's a planetary phenomenon. It is not happening to individuals. Now we've all seen recently beautiful photographs of Jupiter, Saturn. Those photographs are the property of humanity. Nobody's been out there to take them. No one individual saw it. In the past, experience has been one individual going out there, experiencing something, like going out exploring a desert, coming back and telling others what it was like. This is humanity en masse exploring. It takes a huge human effort to get out there. And I, you, a plumber in Paris, a NASA technician are all equally privileged as observers. So it's really, I see, this is the next stage already beginning. As the global brain comes together, it is sending out its first sensory fibers. So it's like we are the planet's senses as she begins to look at her immediate environment. And maybe for the next few thousand years, she'll just be sensing the immediate environment of the solar system. But then she'll start sensing further and further and start saying hello to other planetary beings out there who are doing the same thing. And then we'll see the same process of integration, connectivity beginning to happen at a galactic level.